on, show you how I store my wheat because it's a lot of wheat today. So let me just get cracking here. So currently we have soft white wheat in our basement and hard red. And we're getting low on the supply. So I ordered a 25-pound bag of each of those. We really like both of those types of wheat, but I just got more to replenish. And so I'm actually going to leave these in these bags because we don't have that much left. So instead of putting these in another bucket for now, I'm just going to leave them in their bags because it will not be very long at all. And we will have space in the storage buckets to put this in perfectly fresh. So 25-pound bag of soft white wheat, 25-pound bag of hard red wheat. Our favorite way to deal with this wheat, or to eat it, let me just show you. Is to sprout it. So I actually started some yesterday. This is the hard red. You can see it's a lot darker in color. Soft white. And I soak it until it sprouts. And then I put it in my dehydrator to dry it. And then I store it as a sprouted grain. And then I will make my own flour with the sprouted grain. Sprouting wheat increases like the nutritional bioavailability of the wheat. So it basically makes it so that your body can better absorb all the great things that wheat has, and breaks down some of the things that interferes with the absorption of vitamins, things like phytic acid, and that's called an anti-nutrient. So that's the only one I need to know the name of, but that's what sprouting helps with. So I feel really good about doing that. And it's a pretty easy process for me. I just leave these like this, or these are half-gallon jars, or I'll use half-gallon mason jars. Same thing. You can get sprouting lids, and you don't even have to leave them in liquid like this. I find that if I just kind of rinse these and replenish the water every day, it doesn't take but a couple days, and they start sprouting in the water. And I find that I have a little bit more success sprouting in the water as opposed to out of the water. Sometimes when things are sprouting out of the water, for me, they can get a little mold growth going. So sometimes it's easier because I don't forget to rinse it off because it's already sitting in water. It's kind of an insurance policy for me when I'm sprouting stuff. So that's what I do. And we throw it in everything. We throw it when we're making cookies or bread. This packing tape's kind of loud. This is how I make my labels for my buckets. It's just what I do. I get a piece of printer paper. I write down what it is. I use packing tape and make a big label. And then I know it'll cover a big part of the bucket. It's not going to peel off. This one got a little funky, but anyway, that's what I do. And it's big, but it does the job. And this is a 3-gallon bakery bucket. And I love these things. The bakery also has 1-gallon buckets, but I prefer the 3-gallon. You can fit more than 25 pounds of wheat, or we've gotten split peas, same thing. You can fit 25 pounds of anything in these things. The only thing is that you want to make sure you get a lid that has a rubber gasket. See that sitting in there? Some of the buckets we get from the bakery doesn't have that, and so I make sure whenever I do get these buckets that they do have lids, and then that the lids have gaskets. Some of the newer lids that I've gotten with our buckets, I didn't realize didn't have a gasket until I got home and I took a closer look, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have got. They are just 100% discard, but they're just awesome, in my opinion, for food storage, and they're relatively free. Also, 5-gallon buckets are so much bigger, which can be helpful because it can store so much more, but that also means they're going to be heavier and a little bit more challenging to lug around. So I like the size of a 3-gallon bucket. It works really well for us. So I know that I can fit 25 pounds in one of those. So I actually got 2 new buckets the other day, and I'm going to be able to fit all 50 pounds of this in these 2 buckets. So I'm just going to get, these did have labels on them, and I was not patient enough to get them complete, like all the sticky completely off. So I'm trying to, got some here. So I'm trying to cover a lot of that stickiness. There's still a little bit over here, but that's why I made the tape so large. All right, so this is hard white wheat, and I got 50 pounds. I have not used this before. However, I have heard awesome stuff about working with hard white wheat, especially for bread making. One thing that I often do as well is these labels easily peel off of the Azure bags, and I've done it off of the paper bags as well, not just sort of this this woven plastic bag. But I'm going to tape this on one of these buckets as well. Probably, I don't know, probably not the lid, but it gives all the nutritional facts, which I find really great. And then also just cooking. If you wanted to cook it from raw, simmer and cook for 2 hours, 50 to 60 minutes if they're pre-soaked. So it can take a long time for these to just cook if you're making like a wheat berry salad or using them in some kind of recipe or something like that. But a 1/4 cup of dry has 6 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, iron, calcium, potassium are the other noteworthy vitamins. But that's incredible. And I'm trying to think, I know it's been a while since I've looked at the details from the other wheats. More protein in the hard red, same amount of fiber. For the soft white, a little less protein, same amount of fiber, more iron, a lot more iron actually. So anyway, it's really nice to know those little things, because I think when we get flour, especially from the grocery stores, they've been stripped. A lot of the white flours anyway have been stripped of their nutrients, and even the wheat. And then, vitamins are added back in. So to be able to see the nutritional profile of the wheat berries in their whole, completely unaltered form is really helpful. And it is a reminder of how nutritious they actually are. So yeah, I'm going to slap this. And it is still a little sticky, so I'm just going to leave it right on there. And it actually covered that last little sticky bit. So that works out well for me. But I do have the soft white and the hard red labels in my buckets in the basement that I will put those other bags in. So I've already cleaned these out. I cleaned these out yesterday, so they'll be ready to go. And we will fill those in just a minute. I'll open that up last. I think this is just one thing. I think this is just crackers. I recently discovered these things, and they are amazing. These aren't super cheap, but they were actually better priced than our food co-op, which is where we do the bulk of our food purchasing. So they were a little less than that, and I just figured, I don't know, with snacking that we're doing, I feel like, we snack year round, of course. It's not like a seasonal thing, but yeah, I just thought it would be good. They're so good. They're brown rice crackers, and they say that's not obviously flavor, but, and then green bell peppers. Besides that, it's just rice. 1 second. So it's just a dehydrated food powder that is flavoring these. So they're not actually made with those vegetables. That's just sort of what's kind of coating them on the outside, but they're super, super tasty. So we got a box of those, and I think there's 12 in there. But that should last us quite a while. And then in here are a couple of things. Let's see. Oh, I just broke my scissors. Look at that. Wow. Here we go. Oh, I forgot about that last thing. So they usually have this flyer in here. I guess it's just like sales and stuff like that. It normally just when you like check out through Azure, they automatically put this in. Sorry about the noise. The washer's going and I'm right by the basement stairs. But I guess this is just like a sales flyer that you can flip through. It usually says that it's in your cart, but I actually haven't gotten one in a while. So even though it says it's there, it may not come every time. And so this we have not purchased before. It's a 5-pound block of whole milk mozzarella cheese. We eat a lot of mozzarella cheese in our house. Now, I have heard these store very, very well in the fridge. We also got 5 pounds of raw cheddar, another type of cheese that we eat a ton in our house. And I honestly would have probably gotten more, but I've never bought it before, and I wanted to give it a try before I went too wild with it, especially because this is the smallest chunk that you can buy it in. So this is a trial. I've heard these store really well. Like maybe I just said this. Store really well as long as you haven't like cracked into this seal. So we do have some cheese in our fridge, and then once we decide we need more cheese, we'll cut into this, probably section it up into 1-pound blocks. We may or may not pre-shred some and freeze it. Haven't decided. But yeah, so we'll give these a try, and if we like them, this doesn't look as shrink wrapped as this one. The raw cheddar doesn't. Hopefully that stays fresh as long as this does. But if you've tried those cheeses and you really like them, let me know. Okay, I have purchased carob chips from them before. This is an awesome alternative to chocolate. Sometimes chocolate can really bother me. It's kind of hit or miss. It can give me headaches sometimes, but carob is such an awesome alternative. Another interesting fact about carob is it's safe for dogs and pets. So if you have little kids that tend to drop little bits of chocolate around, carob is safe for them. So I have only purchased 1-pound package of this before. In fact, I think I have a little bit left up in here. Anyway, it's in a jar. But this is a 5-pound package. It's more economical. But the only reason I bought the 1-pound previously is I wanted to give it a try. This is unsweetened carob. And honestly, my kids love this stuff. Super tasty, even if it's just like as a snack. My kids will be like, oh, can we have carob? Can we have carob? I'm like, sure. Like I said, unsweetened, super tasty with walnuts. So if you just mix carob and walnuts as a little snack, it's super good. And then the last thing is butter. I know Azure has quite a few different kinds of butter. We really like butter in our house. Again, I have not tried any butter from them. In fact, I don't know that I've really gotten anything refrigerated from them before until this purchase. So I got 6 pounds. That may have been the smallest increment as well. I can't remember. Or maybe it was just the one I wanted to do to make it a little bit more, what's the word, in salt. And you know, the thing about butter is, like I said, we tend to get unsalted butter. And part of that is because of things that I've heard about salted butter. But also, I lost my train of thought. All right, so we got butter. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Sometimes, if you look, sometimes you will find that the ingredients are not just cream and salt, that they have other things like natural flavorings, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. If you do, let me know, but I don't know. But anyway, just stuff that's not cream or salt. So that that always kind of raises some flags for me. All right, so now let's crack into this big bag here. Although all my scissors are gone. 1 second. Okay. We got a few wheat berries coming out somewhere. If I can find where the hole is. Oh, I see. Okay, it's this side. It's just the netting here. I'm going to show you this. The netting is kind of wide. So that's where this was coming out. I have not ever come across that before. Sorry about that. We get chicken food in a similar bag. And I've never seen that kind of thing happen. I wonder if it was just, there was an issue with the machine that was maybe a little too loose. Oh, you know what? This had a long string. I wonder if it just kind of came off. All right, so that's open. So if 25 pounds fits in one of these buckets with some spare, this should fit. So let's see how we do here. And you will find if you buy whole berries just straight in a big sack like this, there are flecks of like the chaff. Sometimes I'll find slightly different things in here. They remind me of like a broccoli seed. So just like little flecks like this. And these tend to float when you soak them in water. So that's really helpful. All right, hopefully this is not a mess. Oh boy. Woo, that's getting close. There is a little bit too much left in here, I think, and I did spill a little bit. Wow, this hard white grain is so interesting. It looks a lot like brown rice. It doesn't look anything like the soft white or the hard red, even though this is a white wheat. That is so interesting. The white, now this has been soaking, but it still looks a lot like it did before it was soaking. As you can see, it looks almost like pearled barley, a lot more like oval shaped, whereas this has more of a rice shape. More of the shape of the hard red, but definitely different color. I wonder if it has to do with the fact that it's a hard white. So like the hard red, hard white. I wonder if that is part of it. So, I don't know. Oh, we can get these to shake down enough. Especially oats, that works. It's very effective with rolled oats. I have to get an extra container, but I'm so glad it worked. All right, that one has a little bit more, but that's okay. And so then I just get my lids on here. I think I could put like an oxygen absorber or something in these to be able to keep them a little fresher. I don't know. It's really been quite a while since I bought a big amount of grain. So I don't know truly, what happens as it reaches its expire date or old date or, whatever it might be. But anyway, that's what we got. So I'm going to get our butter in the freezer. I'm going to put all this in the freezer. We already have some in our fridge. Butter freezes really, really well. Carob will go in the basement. We have a lot of our food storage in the basement. It stays nice and cool, relatively dark down there. But especially with baking coming up, this is such a nice alternative. And I even did a video, I think, on like carob walnut cookies last spring. They turned out awesome. I love baking with them. And then this cheese, I'm just going to store this in the fridge, tuck it on that lowest shelf in the far, far back, and then just wait until we're ready to eat it. These crackers will also go into our basement. I'm not going to like leave these up and out. Okay, maybe just one, because that will probably get eaten today as we snack. But anyway, maybe with some cheese, but not this cheese. Thanks for coming along my live Azure. Let me just double check the chat here. Hello, Rosa. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get these covered in the basement. I just did a bunch of organizing of my pantry in the basement as well. I call it my pantry, but it's really just some shelves in our basement. But it's where I have all of our canned goods. I've been canning so much this year, more than I have ever canned before. So and my canning jars were mixed on these shelves with toys, canning equipment, all kinds of stuff like that. So I rearranged it so like all my jars are on one, all my other food storage is on the other, which is where these will go, and the crackers and stuff like that. So it's really nice, but it's my basement pantry, I guess. So that's what we'll do with all this stuff. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for hanging out with me. It was fun to go through this live for a change. I've done a few that have not been live. And yeah, it's just fun. So thanks for coming along, and we will see you soon.